Welcome to Discussions with the Writer Fred right here at Black Video News in hot San Antonio, Texas. Today I have a very special guest, a very close friend of mine who is a member of the Nation of Islam. And I've asked Brother Greg Muhammad to come in because I think there's a lot of confusion out there about the nation and about the minister. And so we're going to have just a very frank discussion today on Discussions with the Writer Fred, and we're going to try to clarify or make sense of some of the problems that some of us might have with the nation. So, Brother Greg Muhammad, welcome to Discussions with the Writer Fred.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
I want to say this brother is really committed. I don't find as many committed brothers as he is. Right here in San Antonio, he does a great deal of work. If it's in the field of economics, if it's in the field of getting people fed, even in the area of politics, he's very much involved. And he is, to me, truly a leader in this city. And I don't say that about too many of these leaders, not even the elected ones.
Thank you, sir.
So, Brother Greg.
Yes, sir.
Let's start out by, can you give us, where does the nation stand today in terms of their operation?
The nation is, Brother Fred, if we took out a map, we're pretty much in every city throughout America. We could go down into the Caribbean, St. Croix, St. Thomas, we're in Jamaica, we're in Belize. We go over into Canada, we're in Canada. We're even in Great Britain, where the minister has never set foot, and he is a free man, not accused of any crimes on this planet Earth, but Britain has put a halt on him entering, and we have one of the largest movements in Great Britain with a wonderful brother.
Can I stop you right
yes,
there?
Sir.
Just, I want to pick up there, but why? How were you able to get a strong movement in Great Britain and the ministers not been allowed to go into that country?
Well, we have one of the best probably websites that you can find, Fred, and actually through video, DVD, now everybody can go to YouTube and see the minister at a click of a button, where 20 years ago, technology wouldn't allow us to get there. But Britain has held him off for the last 20 years or more, and in 2015, they took it as high as what we would call the Supreme Court here, and they won. And then the gentleman that was actually sitting at the prime minister overruled that he could not enter. And anything that we do live, Brother Fred, is not done live there. They have to wait a day later to get it by live feed.
Okay, I want you to continue to talk about
Yes,
the status of the nation, but can you tell us, or my viewers, why Great Britain has refused to allow the minister into their country?
Yes, I mean, Brother Fred, is like anything that's done here. We do not want truth to be told. They don't want truth over there because, believe it or not, blacks went through the same process of slavery, being held back over in Britain, like as though they did in America. And one of the things that the teachings does, it frees us up if we really listen and put it to practice. And that's something that they never thought would be a challenge there, but they have the same challenges. Brother Leonard Muhammad, man, he goes down into the parks and speak on a religious every Saturday in Great Britain, and the crowds are humongous. And we're talking about black and white folk.
Isn't that a contradiction? They won't let the minister come in,
yes,
but they allow the brothers there to speak.
Well, I think what they do is because they can't be everywhere, and they have been stopped before.
They have?
Yes. And
do they arrest them?
Yes.
Really? In
yes,
Britain?
Sir. In Britain. Yes, sir. So publicly, they have tried to silence the Nation of Islam or the Most Honorable Louis Farrakhan, period. And that's the same thing they did on Facebook here, Twitter, on every platform that was available. And this man has never been charged of any type of crime. We have not harmed one person, Brother Fred. We have not plucked a hair, a single hair, from any Jewish person. And I want you to concentrate on this word today. When you say anti-Semitic, let's drop the anti and pick up Semitic. A Semitic, by definition, is a person that speaks a Hebrew language or Arabic. Mm-hmm. So how could the minister of being a black man or we being black be anti-Semitic?
Okay.
See,
okay.
But when we don't know the definition of most words and look at them for what they are, we lose them. And that's why we have so much confusion out here.
Okay.
But thank you for having me on the show, though.
Oh, definitely.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you continue telling us the status of the...
Yes, sir. The status of the nation, Brother Fred, is we don't particularly talk about numbers at large, but I can honestly tell you that in pretty much all 50 states, you have a presence either by study group or mosque in every state in America.
So that's pretty large.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Very large.
Yeah.
And if we had to put, we don't deal with numbers, and I'm not even going to go there with numbers, but we have one of the fastest pace growths since pre-COVID that actually our numbers went up every year COVID has been existing.
What do you think is the attraction?
Well, obviously, it got to be the minister. I was attracted by Minister Farrakhan some 35 years ago. And I think that when we look back on it, he is the attraction, and he has a record that's just impeccable as a human being. I mean, nobody can ever charge him of a hate crime. Nobody can charge him with death. But they do charge him.
Crime. I won't say crime.
No.
But they charge him with hate speech.
Yes. If we go back and look and do what they did do to the minister in speech, because we can take a simple scripture out of the Bible that Jesus said and turn it around and make him look like a hated man. Mm-hmm. Yes. Jesus had a conversation with the Jews in the book of John that he said, if you love Abraham, you would have to love me. Mm-hmm. See? And then he called them nothing but liars. So we take it on a pretense and turn it around. Most people will be saying, man, that Jesus is a hater. See? So it's easy to do. But we done moved past that, Brother Fred, and I think most people today are more conscious, and that's why that old line is not even, can't even hold back what's been going on in the last 3 years, because believe it or not, we've had tremendous growth.
Yeah, and the church itself, in terms of men,
yes, sir,
is not growing that fast.
No.
And the nation is. So what's the difference and what's the attraction?
Well, I think what the attraction is, Brother Fred, and I use this simple line, is most of us would rather be called a dog. But if we take the word dog and turn it around, it's spelled G-O-D, which is God. So when we have respect for God and you understand that you are a smaller God, because Paul said it best, ye are all God's children of the Most High God. Mm-hmm. So in our teachings, we take you from being a so-called dog to a God, and it makes everything of respect. You become more respective in every aspect of our lives. Our sisters become not this, they become little gods. Our mothers, our aunts, and everything else, we don't use profanity, Brother Fred.
Right.
We take that out the equation.
Right.
Our brothers are not on drugs anymore. We got the best antidote for drugs, and that's the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, followed by the Most Honorable Louis Farrakhan. So we have the best antidote out here available.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We're going to take a break here, Brother Greg.
Yes, sir.
And when we come back, I really want to delve into this feeling about Jesus Christ.
Okay, sir.
How the Muslims, Nation of Islam especially, feel about Jesus Christ and him being the Son of God and
Yes,
the whole
sir.
Trinity.
Okay, sir.
We're going to take a break here with discussion with the writer Fred, and we'll be right back.
You know you missed it. It's back. The all-white martini party, Saturday, August 20th at the Henry's Out Convention Center. Mask, wear them if you got them. That means they're optional. Come enjoy another night of fun, music, and dancing. Voted #1 event of the year. Saturday, August 20th at the Henry's Out Convention Center in beautiful downtown San Antonio. Now it's time to get your groove back from one night only for the grown and sexy. It's the all-white martini party, the restart. Let go.
Veterans, when you're struggling, soon becomes later, becomes someday, becomes when. Don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Hello, this is Cornell with Frost Bank.
Hi there, this is Terry with Frost.
Good evening, this is Franklin.
This is Robert with Frost.
Hello, this is Rosemary with Frost Bank.
Nothing to do this week? Don't miss another event. Go to blacksinsanantonio.com for our event calendar. The home of the largest business directory in San Antonio with an African American focus. Sign up today for our weekly e-blast and text message alerts. Help us make this a better community. Connect, empower, grow.
Welcome back to Discussions with the Writer Fred right here at Black Video News, again in hot San Antonio, Texas. We're into a really good discussion here with Brother Greg Muhammad of the Nation of Islam, and I want to continue that by bringing up a question that has bothered a lot of us, and that is exactly what is the relationship of the nation to Jesus Christ?
Yes, sir. Basically, Brother Fred, you cannot become a Muslim or be a Muslim without believing in Jesus Christ. I want to make that verily known. Matter of fact, in the Quran, it talks about his mother more than it does in the Bible, Maryam.
Talks about Mary?
Yes. We, the minister, when we retook everything back and brought it back forth in the nation, he dedicated the mosque after Jesus' mother, and Mosque Maryam is in Chicago, which is mosque number 2.
Oh, really?
See? And so therefore, I think that sometime through a little confusion, we may stand and say all the major prophets that's talked about in the Bible, which is Abraham, Moses, Jesus. In the Quran, we talk about the same Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Prophet Muhammad. So therefore, we have the same respect for Jesus as anybody else does. We just say that Jesus was a prophet, and in Christianity, we say Jesus is the Son of God.
Right.
We have the same respect.
But you don't say Jesus was the Son of God.
No, we don't. And I don't think that only argument I've seen ever on national, if it was ever on national TV, Brother Fred, I have never seen Billy Graham, any white theologian, I've never seen Joel Osteen ever argue a point with the Nation of Islam on who they believe. You know what normally happens among us, Brother Fred?
What's that?
They go get the most ignorantest Negro preacher and argue a point that he or she can't stand on. Because I'm going to share something with you. See, if we took Jesus right now of 4,000 years ago, and he walked in the door right now, most of us would have a problem who he is if he didn't say, I'm Jesus. You know why? Because most of us been taught that he's a white man.
Okay.
But we know that he's a black man.
Wait, hold it. A black man as
Yes, sir.
you and I are black?
Yes, sir, as you and I. Because this is what the catch is. If you take that part of the region of the world, Brother Fred, and most of us geographically have a problem with geographics. There is no way. I was in Iraq and Afghanistan, Kuwait, Bahrain. The average temperature right now in Kuwait is 128 degrees. That's in Kuwait.
Okay, yeah.
Palestine is not but a couple hundred miles away.
Right, yeah.
Now you tell me what white man is going to survive in Egypt if he does not have the pigmentation of a black man. You couldn't survive.
So what you're telling me and my viewers and everyone else out there that we've been misled.
Oh, totally. And the reason for that is, I think I brought this up once before in one of our discussions. One of the Jehovah Witness has a booklet, or maybe it's the Seventh-day Adventist. One of them has a book that they normally carry around knocking on your door, and most of us run or don't answer the door when they knock on our doors, right? Well, my neighbor happened to be one. And on the back of the book, it talked about the Nicene Creed of 325 AD, Constantine.
Okay.
Most of us have no clue what that is even about. And we are some of the biggest Bible toters and on down the line. And during this period of time in Europe, this is what they did, Brother Fred. Constantine summoned some of the biggest bishops during that time.
Yes.
And they came to agree upon something that was basically paganistic, and you want to split what paganistic was, but they had to agree on the lesser of the two. And the lesser of the two was you were trying to make God into three, or three into one, and some of the largest bishops left. One of them being Martin Luther at that particular time.
Okay.
And the term Protestant in the first part of the word is protest. Well, what did he protest? He protested God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Okay.
See? So some of us have been led one way, and I'm not here to make you believe or disbelieve or any of your viewers change their point of view. But if you go back and read the Nicene Creed of 325 AD, I think that would solve some of our problems that we may hold, because mathematically you could never put three into one.
Well, switch it just a little.
Yes, sir.
You go to the Baptist church, Methodist church, and they preach the only way you can make it to heaven is to believe Jesus is the Son of God, and you have to go through Jesus to get to heaven. That's not what you all believe.
No, I think that we have a personal relationship with He that is in power. And one of the things that we have to say He is about, if we say God, I normally say Allah, but Allah only means God in English, but the definition is the all in all, the creator of all things. So, as I said earlier, Paul said it best: ye are all gods, children of the Most High God. No, we're not the God that created anything around us. But when we get in the workshop to create child, we are the agent that releases out of a man into the woman, into the womb, and she has no power to say who she's going to give birth to, male or female. And whatever is created in that woman, I promise you, none of us have that power to say create and it be. It's God.
Okay.
See?
So you don't, let me ask this.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that Jesus and Muhammad are the same? And
Yes.
the same lane?
I thank you for that question, because Jesus, the definition of the word Jesus, it means one that is anointed with power. That's the definition of Jesus.
Okay.
If you take Muhammad, I believe Muhammad is one that is worthy of praise. So if we look at both of them and say, whether it's in English or Arabic, we would have to say both are worthy of praise.
Well, do you believe, you know well,
Yes, sir.
Easter,
Yes.
the resurrection.
Yes, sir.
And that Jesus left out of the grave,
Yes, sir.
and went up to be the right hand and left hand of God. Do you feel the same way about Muhammad?
Well, if we, as I just made the definition between the two, I would say yes, because Muhammad is Jesus and Jesus is Muhammad. See, most of the lives, Muhammad put something to rest years ago by saying this. He said, a good Muslim is a good Christian. A good Christian is a good Muslim. Okay. And one day, him and the most honorable Louis Farrakhan was riding in his car. He turned to Louis and asked him this question: what is the best religion? And the minister looked at him and he said, man, I know Islam is, he's saying this to himself. Then he said, Islam. He said, brother, that's a good answer. He said, but the best religion is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Yeah. He said, that's the best religion.
Right. Yeah,
see?
that's
so when we get to playing on words and not really argue, it's never an argument. And I think that's where we in the black community, we are so emotional, tied to things. Man, we will fight over something that might not be true.
Yeah, yeah.
See? And, but I'm telling you, I'm going to share this with you. Probably about 6 months ago, Joel Osteen, right in Houston, Texas, brought out a book called How to Eat to Live by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Oh, really?
And guess what he said him and his wife are practicing not doing? They don't eat pork
They
anymore.
don't eat pork?
And he challenged his congregation
Not to?
not to eat pork. See? So you have intelligence at one level, and we always can find the mud eater, as they call a catfish, where we want to get in denial and argue over something. We can find a lot to argue over, but I don't think we should waste time arguing over something.
I got you. We're going to take another break here.
Yes, sir.
But when we come back, I want to talk about the relationship of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to Muhammad Ali.
Yes, sir.
We'll be right back with discussions with the writer Fred here at Black Video News.
2021 is complete. Good or bad, you made it through. The year of many firsts. It will not be easily forgotten. The Black Book Yearbook will help you capsule the year that was 2021. Own your part of history. Get your yearbook today at blacksinsanantonio.com. For the latest news and community activities, visit our companion site, blackvideonews.com, celebrating over 10 years of documenting the community.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
Welcome back to Discussions with the writer Fred here at Black Video News and our last segment here with Brother Greg Muhammad. So let's get right into it.
Yes, sir.
Brother Greg. What was the relationship between Muhammad Ali and Elijah Muhammad? At one point, didn't it go sour? Weren't there some problems?
Yeah, if we mentioned problems, Brother Fred, this was during the time that Muhammad Ali had actually said he was not going to be drafted. The federal government came after him. They garnished his wages and all the above. And during that period of time, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad supported Muhammad Ali as though he had never missed a dollar. His standard of living stayed the same. And once they gave back the money and everything was found that he was not guilty of this process, Muhammad Ali went back into boxing. So him and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad had to sit down with him and the Most Honorable Louis Farrakhan, and he beat him up pretty bad. And he said the reason that he did it, it was for the minister. And the minister looked at him and said, well, you, in his words, is that basically you beat up my brother and you said it was for me. Well, in 1975, after the messenger departed, everybody went their separate ways per se because of the fall. They didn't necessarily, the nation didn't stay together after Warren D. Muhammad came on the scene. It survived a few months and or years or so, and that's when Muhammad Ali went back into boxing. Well, if you look at it back then and you take the minister was in show business before he ever joined the Nation of Islam. And he had a friend, Peter Brock, asked him to come out to California and audition for this play. And man, he couldn't, violin seemed like it wasn't hitting the right notes. His singing seemed like he couldn't sing. Well, when he looked back on it, that's what he meant by he did it for him, because the Most Honorable Louis Farrakhan at that time picked back up the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and that's what you see the results of today. He stayed in the course, where Muhammad Ali didn't. See?
Gotcha.
Yes, sir. That was the little story behind that, per se.
Well, Brother Greg.
Yes, sir.
You know, the big news issue today, bigger than Ukraine or anything else.
Yes, sir.
Probably for the last week, bigger than the shootings that we have, is the whole decision by the United States Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade.
Yes, sir.
Making states they can now decide if it's legal or not legal.
Right.
I don't think the Honorable Minister has ever spoken out on that, has he?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to give you something that most folk don't know. And the minister has shared this story many of times, that his mother tried to abort him on 2 different occasions.
What?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
serious?
For undue circumstances.
Right.
Okay. And what we say is that the only way that anyone or any woman should have an abortion, it has to be on the level of her being in some type of danger of losing her life caused by the pregnancy. It could be something that the baby might be in a different position per se that's causing some harm to both of them. Or if you have some form of incest rape, father raping daughter, uncle raping niece, anything on those lines, yes. But we do not believe in abortion because we believe that the woman's womb, Brother Fred, is really the workshop of God. And any prayer that we may be praying for is going to come through that womb of a woman. So we don't know who the next multi-genius may be if we just come out and start aborting kids. I think we can go one step further in one sense. Responsibility is something I think all of us need to learn in this process. We have a process in the Nation of Islam where you have to go through a courtship. You have to, there's no sex before marriage. You have to be chaperoned by male or female in this process.
Wait.
Yes,
you
sir.
have to be chaperoned.
Yes, sir. Because you know as well as I do that most of us might say, no, we're not doing this, but we do.
The temptation.
Yes, sir. So we want to extract all temptation out of that until you get to a point that you can.
Well,
and I think,
well, let me say.
yes, sir.
So there's an 18-year-old young lady.
Yes, sir.
And a 20-year-old young man. And
yes, sir.
They want a court.
Yes, sir.
They have to be chaperoned?
Yes, sir. And,
wow.
and this is the great part about that, Brother Fred, as you just said. Responsibility is something that a lot of us, we want joy and play from the female. I don't know, there's a term that my father told me, and I don't know if he got it from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, but he said this: there's no such thing as a no good woman until she run into a no good man.
Okay.
See, so therefore, when we have pleasure with no responsibility, that's why our unwed rate is so high today in the black community, because of the joy and play. See, so therefore, even when a brother has sex with a young sister, he will say to this day, that's not my baby. Now she got to go through 9 months, don't know how she's going to get one meal to the next. Her mom and dad might be giving her hell at home. And all it, believe it or not, is being transcended into the baby. And that's why we have a rate of children today that we want to give a pill to every answer because the baby can't be still. He's over here, she's over there. But when we subconsciously do things, there is a responsibility that most of us don't want to handle, Brother Fred. And I think that's a good tool.
Does it work?
Yes,
the
sir.
Chaperoning.
Yes, sir. If you're in the body, it works for the Nation of Islam. It might not work for anybody outside of that because, once again, we have a book called Restrictive Laws, and we abide by those laws. See, and I think that if I had to say, because I grew up in church, Brother Fred, I think responsibility is one of the biggest problems we have in church, is making one stand up to wrong. If he's wrong, he's wrong. But most of us will get in a corner inside with the wrong and know damn well he's wrong or she is wrong. And that's how we have the flip-flopping. There is no flip-flopping with God, man. You're either right or you're wrong.
You
Follow
right
me?
about that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So before we close,
Yes, sir.
have any words,
yes,
wisdom
sir.
to give our viewers, and also if they're interested in the nation, how they can contact you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think today that we're living in a time that we have studied in the Nation of Islam from every book the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has brought, giving you one. It's called Fall of America. Well, America is in trouble no matter how we want to look at it and how we want to take a stance and say it might not be in trouble. But Brother Fred, but when you're $43 trillion in debt, you can come up with money that you can send more money to Ukraine than you can send to hurting families in America.
You're right on that.
You got a problem.
Yeah.
See,
I agree with you.
You got a government that really don't stand there. They take a sworn oath on the Bible. but I don't believe any of them ever read the Bible. See? Okay. So therefore, you flip-flop with hypocrisy at a level that you cannot say that America is not in trouble. I mean, if you just look at the weather, this is unusual weather that we're having right now. It's talked about in Fall of America. So every book the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote some 45, almost 50 years ago, things are coming to fruition. We have the minister on Channel 20 here in San Antonio on every Tuesday and Saturday at 1 p.m. That's on Channel 20, 1 p.m., Tuesdays and Saturdays, and that's the best way. But if you need to get in contact with Brother Greg, my number is 210-77-9311. No, I'm kidding about that. but you can reach out. My number is available on that website also. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, well, Brother Greg, I want to thank you for being my guest today.
Yes, sir.
And enlightening us on a great deal of information.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So this is Writer Fred, discussion with the Writer Fred, telling our story our way.
Thank you, sir.